Hi, my name is Steve Grabowski. I am the IT manager for the Ocean Pines Association. I run the IT department of two. That would be myself and Howard Webb. He's my IT support person. Together, we try to address all of our users' needs, no matter what they are, because a lot of times they don't actually end up being IT related. So we are normally doing a discovery when there's an issue and narrowing it down to whether it's our problem or not. And even when it's not, sometimes we lend a hand and do what we can. On a typical day in IT, which is usually atypical, we usually are troubleshooting first priority, which is user needs, Ocean Pines Association user needs, which usually entails hardware issues, software issues, printers networking, internet issues, pretty much anything that has to do with the electronics piece of information technology. Although it does move from that a little bit in each direction, depending on what the project is we're working on. Could be as simple as a break fix, could be as simple as or as extensive as a project that we would take weeks, sometimes months to complete. We work with Comcast, we work with MediaCom, we work with many outside vendors. We even work with Public Works to have them do some things for us as well. And we also reciprocate back to every department in pretty much the same way. But basically what it is if it touches IT in any way, we are involved. We do the surveillance systems, we do the access control systems. I even was involved with Josh, even though he did most of the work for the audio systems that we had installed. But like I said, in any capacity, I'm there to be a resource, whether it's at 90% or at 10%. Some of the projects, longer term projects that I was referring to, could be things like the Comcast construction. I was involved in that from the beginning, and I am involved in all the, not the burial of cables, so to speak, on the roads and such, but the connections to all the locations for the Ocean Pines Association, which are each getting their own separate connection to Comcast, in addition to the MediaCom connection that they already have. We've, in the process, found some devices, some network devices that will allow us to eliminate our archaic, so to speak, connection between our locations that we use for very little, but just to get by, to a pretty robust connection between locations, which will allow us to do things like remotely move data, whether it be cameras or access control or whatever, in a much more heavy fashion, so to speak. We also had a couple of new buildings last year that we were responsible for all the low voltage cabling, the network cabling, surveillance, cameras, systems, the access control systems. We fitted the police department and the golf club with all of those devices, as well as transported and transitioned all their equipment from their old buildings to their new buildings and into trailers in between. So we actually moved 3 times for each building, which made it fairly interesting, and getting some devices all set back up that were not used sometimes, in some cases, for the 6 to 9 months that it took to relocate those facilities. We've also retrofitted the administration building with all new Cat6 cabling, that's network cabling capable of higher bandwidth, to provide our remote workers a bigger pipe, faster bandwidth into the building and its servers, so to speak. Since the COVID situation has occurred, we've had a lot of remote workers, and this way they will not only be able to gain additional bandwidth, with the new cabling, but we have pre-wired for the remodeling of the administration building that is going to be taking place sometime this year. The IT department is fairly busy, not just on an 8 to 5 basis, but we are a 24-hour coverage department because we have the police who don't close. We have the sports core facility that opens at 5 in the morning. And we have the food and beverage arenas that stay open until very late in the summer times. So we are always on call, one of us or both of us, and we attend to these issues as they come up. Obviously, unless they're critical, we normally reschedule them for another time, but just put them as a first priority for the next day event. If we are needed on site, we show up and we do what we can. Most of the time, issues we have like that do involve vendors. It's normally an internet outage or something similar to that we can either patch up until we get help out there from the vendor themselves, or we can sometimes substitute equipment to get people by until a real fix is made. We are so busy that we can't actually support the residential neighborhoods of Ocean Pines, although we've been asked to at certain times. And if there is time to do that, we do acknowledge that we do that for certain situations, but very, very few.